confident woman in a tailored black suit walked up to the front desk of Skyward Airlines, her steps purposeful. She was met with a dismissive glance from the agent, who muttered, "You're not on the list." Without missing a beat, she struck back with a response that left him stumbling, caught in the weight of her words. It was not a petty rebuke. It was a sharp, calculated response that he would carry as a mark of regret for the rest of his days. That morning, Simone Bennett arrived at Willowbrook Airport, Terminal 3, with a quiet intensity. At 43, she was the powerhouse CEO of Bennett Technologies, a company known for revitalizing struggling enterprises and turning them into booming successes. Her name was synonymous with innovation and leadership in the tech world, and her achievements were recognized across the globe. She wore a perfectly fitted charcoal gray suit, her look elegant but unpretentious. A sleek leather handbag rested on her shoulder, its simplicity speaking volumes. Her hair was pulled into a neat, low ponytail, and a silver watch on her wrist ticked steadily, an embodiment of her composed nature. Simone approached the counter, ready for her flight to San Francisco. The agent, a young man named Luke Farrow, was hunched over the keyboard, barely looking up as he said, "Ticket?" His voice was flat, detached. She handed over her boarding pass. "First class, 10 a.m., she said clearly, her name boldly printed across the document. Luke glanced at the ticket, squinted at the barcode, and scanned it twice. He sighed, dismissing it with a flick of his wrist, tossing the ticket back. "Doesn't show up in the system. You're not on this flight," he said with an air of finality, barely acknowledging her presence. Simone's voice was steady, yet firm. "Check it again. It's there." Luke smirked, his eyes darting up to meet hers briefly before he looked away. "I did. Maybe you meant economy? Over there." He gestured lazily toward the general boarding line, already turning his attention to the next passenger, a man in a suit. "Morning, sir," he said, smiling. Simone planted her feet. "No, this is my seat. First class. Paid, confirmed. Look again." Her voice dropped to a commanding tone, unyielding. Luke's smirk faltered, and he punched the keys more aggressively. "Ma'am, I'm telling you, you're not on this flight. If you don't step aside, I'll call security." The line murmured with impatience, some passengers shooting annoyed glances. A woman in a floral scarf audibly sighed, and a businessman tapped his foot in frustration. Simone, undeterred, pulled out her phone, scrolling through her email confirmation and holding it up. "Explain this," she said, her tone as calm as ever. Luke grabbed the phone, scanned it with a disinterested snort, and tossed it back across the counter. "Fake glitch. Doesn't match. You're done here." His tone was dismissive, almost cruel. Behind him, another agent, Rachel Turner, appeared. She had a military-style ponytail and a posture that screamed authority. She walked up, arms crossed. "What's going on here?" she asked, her eyes zeroing in on Simone with a touch of suspicion. Simone didn't flinch. "Your system is wrong. I'm first class. Fix it." Rachel snatched the boarding pass from Luke, scanning it herself. Her face tightened into an expression of doubt as the scanner rejected it. "Sorry, ma'am. You're not boarding," she said. Luke, now clearly enjoying the moment, leaned back and folded his arms. "Told you," he muttered. "Move it or we escalate this." Simone, feeling the familiar sting of being dismissed, squared her shoulders. She locked eyes with both Luke and Rachel. "You're making a mistake," she said quietly. "Correct it, or I will." Luke let out a short, sharp laugh. "Go ahead, sweetheart," he scoffed, clearly not taking her seriously. Rachel's fingers hovered near her radio. She exchanged a look with Luke, who was now visibly nervous. Simone's voice sliced through the tension. "One call. One number. Don't test me." Rachel looked at her with alarm. Simone calmly reached for her phone again and dialed a number she knew well. "Marcus," she said in a steady voice. "Airport, Skyward Airlines. Denied first-class boarding. Handle it." On the other end of the line, Marcus Reed, her COO, responded immediately. "Got it. 2 minutes." Simone hung up and gave Luke a glare that could have cracked concrete. She stood there, the air thick with expectation, while Luke's fingers began to tap nervously at the keyboard, his earlier smugness dissolving. "Come on. Come on, he muttered under his breath. The screen flickered erratically as error messages popped up. Invalid entry, it flashed. He slammed his hand down on the counter in frustration. Rachel's radio crackled, and she stepped away, whispering hurriedly into it. Yes, sir. She's still here. What do you mean check the VIP list? Her eyes widened in shock, her earlier smugness now completely gone. Luke, now sweating, continued to fumble with the computer. Passengers began murmuring more loudly, their annoyance mounting. A woman yelled, "What's taking so long? I have a connecting flight." Simone remained silent, unmoved by the chaos around her. She simply watched, her gaze unwavering. The PA system crackled with an announcement. Flight 214 to San Francisco, boarding paused. Stand by for updates. Luke swore loudly, frustration thick in his voice. He stabbed at the keys again, his face reddening. The screen, however, was still a mess of errors. Rachel's radio buzzed again, and her face drained of color. Yes, she's still here. She's on the VIP list? Why wasn't she processed? Her voice trembled as she turned toward Luke, who was now looking for any way to fix the situation. Simone, still calm, took a deep breath. I want to know why I was flagged. I want to know why your agents didn't believe me. Just as Rachel's radio crackled once more, a supervisor, David Morgan, rushed over. He was flustered and out of breath, his shirt untucked and his tie loose. Miss Bennett, I'm so sorry, he stammered, his voice shaky. There's been a mix-up. We're fixing it right now. Simone's eyes narrowed. Fixing what? Why was I denied? David's hands twisted nervously, his knuckles white. There was a system flag. It's being corrected now, he said, though it sounded rehearsed. Simone's voice rose. What flag? I paid for this ticket. Why was I treated like a fraud? Behind the counter, Luke avoided her gaze, his posture slumped. Rachel clutched her radio like a lifeline. David looked at the ground, his voice barely above a whisper. I don't know yet, ma'am, but corporate is handling it. I've got calls out. Simone stepped closer, her presence commanding. That's not good enough. I want names, and I want answers. The terminal fell silent as passengers froze mid-conversation, all eyes on Simone. A child's distant cry was swallowed by the tension hanging in the air. David's radio buzzed again, and his face turned pale. Miss Bennett, we've found the issue. Your ticket has been reinstated. Boarding is back on track. Simone didn't move. Her eyes pierced David's, unyielding. I'm not going anywhere until I know why I was treated like this. David, sweating and flustered, nodded quickly. Yes, ma'am. We'll find out what happened. I promise. Simone walked confidently to the gate, unshaken. Texting Marcus nailed them. The fallout spread, with agents reassigned and an investigation launched. She read David's apology, a lesson delivered without spectacle.